Hello home bosses, welcome to part 6 of our video series on how to publish your first low content book on Amazon KDP. I'm Nuria Kobi from thehomeboss.com, and on this channel I like to teach you how to make money online through self-publishing. In today's episode, which is our last episode in this series, I'll show you how to upload your interior and your cover for your notebook to Amazon KDP. If you have been following my previous videos in the series, you will now know what low content books are, where to find book ideas, how to find and validate a niche, where to find a free interior and cover template, and in my last video I showed you how to create a cover. So today we're going to do the final step, and that is uploading our notebook to Amazon KDP. And after that, you will have published your first notebook. So exciting. So let's get started. First of all, we have to sign into our KDP account. And I showed you how to open a KDP account in a previous lesson. So we sign in first. And then once you've signed in, you get this page here. Because this is probably going to be your first book, there will be no books here, and because I've already made lots of books, all my books are listed on this front page. And as you can see, I've got a book that I haven't finished publishing yet, but it will be coming out very soon. But as I said, this will not be here for you. Depending on the kind of books you have created, they will all show up here. And if you haven't created any, this will be all blank. And all we have to do is to click on Create. Once you click on Create, we want to create a paperback, so that's what we're going to click here, Create Paperback. And this will take us to this page, which is where we can upload our book. So the first thing we are going to enter is our language, and it's already on the default language, which is English. But if you're publishing a book in a different language, you can choose it from here. I'm going to keep mine on English. And ignore this. This is an add-on that I have from Tangent Templates. They have a list helper, which helps you list books very easily, but we're going to ignore this because we don't need that at this stage. Later on, if you want to buy Tangent Templates, this might be helpful for you, but we don't need it right now, so just ignore this. So now we have to enter our book title, and the book title has to be exactly as it is on your cover. So it says that here, enter your title as it appears on the book cover. This field cannot be changed after your book is published. So you have to make sure that what you enter here is absolutely correct. Don't have any spelling mistakes, don't have anything that you want to change later, because once your book is published, this cannot be changed. I know a lot of people sometimes say, oh, I've made a spelling mistake in my book title. How do I change it? Unfortunately, this cannot be changed. It's one of the things, your title, your subtitle, and your author name cannot be changed once your book is published. So it's very important that you take care in entering this correctly. And it has to be exactly what it says on your cover. So on our cover, if you remember, we just had my notebook. So we're going to enter this here. And now you can enter a subtitle, and the subtitle should always be something that tells you a little bit more about the book. If you research your subtitles on Amazon, you will see a lot of books that have details in the subtitle that shouldn't be there. And Amazon are getting quite strict now with what they let through on the subtitle. You don't want to include any details that are already in the detail section of your book. You really just want to describe what your book is about or who it is for. And they are also very strict on repetitive words. So don't use the word notebook again in the subtitle because you already have it in the title. So the thing we could probably say is lined pages with floral cover design. I mean, it's very difficult to find a subtitle for a notebook, I think, because there's only so much you can say about a notebook, but you could say what your cover is about, and you could just say that it's lined pages. It's not ideal, but I think there is only so much we can do for notebooks. And also don't forget that we're making notebooks now to learn the process. We're not making them with the view of making a lot of sales, because I think making notebooks isn't going to get you lots of sales right now unless you advertise a lot. The reason we're making notebooks is because it's the simplest book to upload. It's the simplest one to start with. This is a tutorial for beginners, and I just want you to learn the process. So this is why I've chosen a notebook for you to upload, and I'm providing you a free interior. So we're going to keep everything really simple. All you have to do is more or less copy what I'm doing. Just make your title really simple. Make sure that whatever you've written on your cover, if you watch my last tutorial, my last video on this, you will learn how to make a cover for your notebook, and whatever you've written in the title on the cover, that has to be reflected in the book title here when you upload your book. So it's very simple. We're just going to call it My Notebook, and as the subtitle we're going to have lined pages with floral cover design. The series bit is if you're writing books in a series, so that doesn't concern us at the moment. We're also not adding any edition numbers because it's just a notebook, but we do have to fill in our pen name, and you can choose any pen name as long as it's a person's name. I know some people are using brand names. Amazon don't like this very much now. They're really clamping down on it, and they want a pen name or an author name to sound like a person. So I could put my own name in there, Nuria Corby, or I could just have a pen name and publish under another name, which is something that authors do a lot because some people want to keep their names private, or there might be other reasons, and some people use different pen names depending on what genre or what niche they choose. So if you think of J.K. Rowling, you know her from the Harry Potter books, but she also publishes books under the name Robert Galbraith, and those books are different to her Harry Potter fantasy series. These are more crime fiction series. So it's very usual to see authors publishing under a pen name. So I'm just going to put my name there just to show you how to do it. And my last name is Corby. But of course you have to write your own name or your chosen pen name in those boxes. You can also add contributors. So for example, if you had someone design your cover, you could then mention the illustrator or the photographer, or as you can see, you can also mention editors or forewords or translators. But we're just making a notebook, so we're just going to keep it very, very simple, and you're just entering your name as the author. Now, the description is something that you should spend a little bit of time with, because having a good description can sell your book. People look at the cover first of all, but then they also like to read the description. So what I generally do, is I take my title and my subtitle and I put that right at the top. So I've got My Notebook, and then lined pages with floral cover design, and I like to make that bold. So that's my first line, and then I just write a little bit about my notebook. So you can really use your imagination here and write something about the notebook. So you can say a delightful companion for your thoughts and ideas. I'm just going to write something and speed this up, so then we can talk about how you can write a description afterwards. Okay, Okay, so I've got my description now, and you can really be creative with this. I always have my title and subtitle at the top, and then I write a little bit about what the product is. In this case, it's a notebook. And I also say a little bit about what it looks like, about the cover. And then what I really like to do is I like to have key features, and then I do them in bullet points. So the key features could be something about the book, like I've mentioned, the premium quality. The paper is 90 gram per square meter, so I'm telling them a little bit about that. And then I talk about the cover, and also that it's got 120 lined pages. So tell them what is included in this notebook, all the features it has. I talk about the size, and when it's 6 by 9 inches, it's small enough to maybe put in your bag. And also that it's a thoughtful gift. You can give this as a gift, and I talk a little bit about who you could give this to. And then at the end, I always have like a call to action or something to really draw them in. In this case, I've said, embrace the joy of writing, drawing and planning, and let this exquisite stationery become your loyal companion on your journey of self-discovery. So it kind of gives them an incentive as to why they should buy this book. So you can really think about this. You can get some help. There are different websites that can tell you a little bit more about how to write descriptions. I recommend that you go on the Kindlepreneur website. Kindlepreneur are the people who make Publisher Rocket, and if you have published any books, you will know who they are. But if you're new to this, take a look at that. I will leave a link below this video to their description generator, and that can help you create a description for your book. But other than that, it's just very simple. Just state what the book title is and the subtitle, and then just talk a little bit about your book. And if you have bullet points like this, it makes it easier for the buyers to read. So the next thing we have to do is to click whether we own the publishing rights. And of course we have created this book. So we click I own the copyright and hold necessary publishing rights. And that is because you then tell Amazon that yes, you have the copyright for this book. So this is why it's very important that you have all the necessary licenses for any images that you use. In this case, we're using a cover on the notebook that I have created myself by taking a photo with my iPhone. So there are no problems there. I can use this. I have the copyright, and always click this one here if you're just creating a normal low content book or a written book or any non-fiction fiction book. This is the one that you have to tick. This one here is only if you are creating public domain books, and public domain books is something completely different. They are books that have already been published, but they're quite old and they're not under copyright, and then you are technically allowed to republish them, but Amazon are very strict on how you need to do that. So I don't make these type of books because I think that the rules are very strict, and it's a very easy way to get banned on Amazon if you don't do it the right way. So I don't do this, and this is of no interest to us at the moment. Just make sure that you tick the publishing rights, the first one here, and you're good to go. Now it's asking us about our primary audience. So it says adult only content. Does this book contain language, situations or images inappropriate for children under 18 years of age? So this is only for sexually explicit content. So if you're writing erotica or really sexually explicit books, then you would have to click yes. If you're just creating a notebook, then of course we just click no. And even if you have images in the book that are a little bit risque, you're still clicking no. This is purely for erotica and those kind of books. So anything else really comes under no, and they give you the option to select the reading age, but this is optional. Unless you are creating children's books, I would just leave this as it is. And then we have to choose our primary marketplace, and I always choose Amazon.com because that is the biggest market. And all this means is that when it comes to pricing your books, and you will see that later on when we do that, Amazon will guide itself by the price that you set in your primary marketplace, and it will adjust the prices for all the other marketplaces. So if I set mine as Amazon.com, when I price my books in dollars for Amazon.com, it will then calculate what that is for prices in British pounds, in Canadian dollars, and in all the different currencies. So it doesn't really matter that much which one you choose here. This is just important for when you're setting your price. It will calculate the other territories according to the price you set here. So you can click whichever one you want. I just do Amazon.com, and I plan to publish on all marketplaces. So this is quite practical to just go with Amazon.com. Now we have to choose categories, and this has changed recently. Before that, it was a little bit more complicated. We had to choose BISAC categories, and we could only choose 2, and then there was an option to choose more. Amazon have simplified this, and now it's much easier to choose categories. And the best way to choose your category is to have a look what your competitors have chosen for the category that they're in. So let's just click on categories first, and now you have to select one, and you can see that there are lots of categories. There are children's books, Christian books, comic and graphic novels. Now we have a notebook, and we're not aiming it at anyone in particular. It's just a floral notebook. So what you can do is you can go on Amazon and check what people have published their notebooks in. So let's have a look at that. Let's go on Amazon.com. And let's just type in notebook. And we obviously want the notebooks that have been published on Amazon KDP, because there are lots of notebooks published on Amazon Marketplace, and they're not the same categories. They have a category for stationery, which we haven't got on Amazon KDP. So I'm going to type in independently published so that we only get the KDP books. So here we are, music notebook for kids, and I'm just going to wait for this to load, and it will tell us the categories this book is in. So let's have a look. You can see here it's published under songwriting, blank sheet music, and music composition. That is because this book is targeted at music, but we just want a very plain notebook. So let's have a look what they've done with this one. This is under composition notebooks. Now ours isn't a composition notebook, so we just want to publish under notebook, so we keep searching. So let's just see if we can get a floral notebook. So floral pattern notebook, let's see what they've published it under. Physics of gravity, flowers in biological sciences. So I think we could use flowers in biological science, or we could have a look at what else is there. Flower arranging. Our book is not about flower arranging, so I wouldn't put it in that. I would make sure that your category is very specific to your book. And if you can't find a specific category, and in this case, I think because we've used a floral cover, I don't think it's appropriate to put it under gardening or flowers or anything like that, because it's not a gardening book, it's a notebook. So what I then do is I just pick this last one, which is non-classifiable. And I know that some people think your books won't get found, but that is not the case. Just put it under non-classifiable, click this and save the category, and you're done. That is your category for a very simple notebook. If you have notebooks that are very specific in a certain category, if it's a notebook to maybe make a note of the flowers that you have planted in your garden or something like that, then you could possibly go into one of the gardening categories. But I think if it's something very generic like this notebook, we can just go under non-classifiable, and that's it. Remember, this is just to learn the process. So for the moment, let's put it in this category. And once you've learned the process, you can then be more specific with your categories when you produce other types of books. Now we have to tick whether it's a low content book like journals, notebooks and planners, and whether it's a large print book. So we do tick this because it is a low content book, it's a notebook. And we don't tick this because large print books is for books that are printed with a large font size, for people that have impaired vision or that prefer a large font size. And because this is a lined notebook, this doesn't apply. Now comes the fun part. We have to find some keywords. So the best way to choose your keywords, because you want people to find your notebook, we want to keep them really streamlined and very relevant to what your book is about. So we know that your book is a notebook, but you could also use it for journaling. Now sometimes Amazon doesn't like it when you put notebook and journal in the title and subtitle, because it's either a notebook or a journal. It's not the same thing, but you can use a notebook for journaling. So I'm going to type journal in the keywords. I wouldn't put it in the title or subtitle because I've already used the word notebook. And you can type in for note taking. So you can type in what this is for, and you can fill in several keywords here for note taking, and I think that's probably it. And then we can write in for students, teachers, homework, and then we can say something about the cover, floral cover, lined paper. We could say stationery, writing companion. I'm trying to think of words that people might type into Amazon to search for a notebook. Someone might type in writing companion, lined pages or something like that. So it's worth researching this a little bit. Have a look at what other books are typing in their titles and subtitles, and you could then type this into your backend keywords. The other thing is to target who this is for. So you could say for women, for girls, and you don't really have to repeat any words. So I don't really have to say for. It could just be for women, girls. It won't do it any harm if you repeat any words. If you haven't got enough space for more words, if you're publishing a book where it has the capacity for lots of keywords and you want to save some space, then don't repeat any. That's the best way. But because I can't think of that many keywords for this particular book, and I will have lots of space, I will leave it like that. And you could also use words like for creative expression, cute, because it's a cute cover. Sometimes people type in cute cover. And I think that's probably all I can think of. Maybe portable size. So I think, think about your particular notebook and who it might be a nice idea for. Who could you give it to as a present? Maybe it could be a teacher appreciation gift. I'm not quite sure whether Amazon are very happy about the word gift in the keywords. And also bear in mind that Amazon sometimes changes what is allowed and what isn't allowed. So at the time of making this video, more or less this is all allowed, but I would keep checking. Make sure you stay up to date with Amazon's terms and conditions and what they want us to do. Because, for example, I used to put Christmas gift in the back-end keywords. And I know that now they don't really like you to do that, because it could be a Christmas gift, but it's not particularly Christmassy. So they don't like you to do that. They want you to enter really relevant words for your book. So you don't have to fill in all of the keyword slots. You can just leave some of them blank if you haven't got enough keywords. but you can also fill them with lots of keywords if they are all very relevant to your book. So I think for us, for now, for this particular book, this is enough. And I'm going to click Save and Continue. And now it is asking you on the next page whether you want to publish without an ISBN. And yes, we do. We keep this ticked. Low content books like notebooks, planners, journals, and other similar works don't require an ISBN. This is something that Amazon first started giving us free ISBNs, and I always thought it was strange because usually a notebook usually hasn't got an ISBN. Written books do, like fiction, non-fiction books, of course they have an ISBN, and if you're publishing that kind of book and you want to buy your own ISBN and not use the free one with Amazon, then you would click this. But for a simple notebook, we're just going to publish without an ISBN. And the only reason that people use their own ISBNs is because some people might want to publish on other sites that are not Amazon, and other sites don't accept Amazon's free ISBN. So for those reasons, people will use their own ISBN. But as we're only going to publish on Amazon, because in fact it's the only platform that I know of that allows us to publish low content books like notebooks, we're just going to go without an ISBN. So we're going to leave the publication date blank because Amazon will state the date that your book will be published. So we're going to leave this blank if we are publishing our book for the first time. So you don't have to worry about this. And now we come to the print options. So you can choose the ink and paper type. So we can have black and white interior with cream paper, black and white interior with white paper, standard color interior, or premium color interior. For now, all you need to know is that we're using the black and white interior with white paper. And this is important because all of these things affect the size of your cover. The thicker the paper is, the bigger your cover of the book will be because it has to wrap around your book. So Amazon needs to know what we are publishing, and we're going to publish our book, our notebook, with black and white interior on white paper. Now the trim size is 6 by 9 inches, and if you want to create a different one, you would select a different size and then you get all the sizes that Amazon allows, but we're just going to stick to our 6 by 9 inch notebook. Now we have to decide whether we go with bleed or no bleed, and bleed and no bleed is a whole different tutorial, but for now all you need to know is that we're choosing no bleed. Bleed is when you have text or images that go right over the edge of the paper, but we are publishing an interior that doesn't go over to the edge of the paper, so we're choosing no bleed. And by the way, this is only regarding your interior. Covers are always automatically published with bleed, so this has nothing to do with your cover design, it's just for the interior of your book. But now you can choose something about your cover, and that's whether you want to publish it in matte or glossy. I quite like matte, but this is completely up to you what you want to do. I usually publish my children's books in glossy covers because I think they're just easier for children to handle. I think the colors look more vibrant with a glossy cover, so it's completely up to you, but I'm going to leave the matte cover ticked, but you can choose glossy if you like. So over time, when you keep publishing different books, you can experiment with that a little bit and see which one you prefer. Now comes an important part. We're going to upload our paperback manuscript. So this is your interior, and I've provided you with a free interior. I hope you have downloaded that. If not, I'll leave another link below this video where you can find it, and you can just download that onto your computer, and then we can upload it here. So all you have to do is upload paper manuscript, click on that, and then you find your manuscript on your computer, and it's uploading now. This always takes a little bit of time, so just be patient. And it has now uploaded our interior. So now it's confirmed that it's uploaded our manuscript, which is the interior. And now we have to upload our cover. So you can use the cover creator from Amazon, but I never use that because I find it a bit tricky and it doesn't give you many options. So this is why I showed you in my last video how to make your own cover in Canva, and we're going to use that. So we click on upload a cover you already have, and we upload our cover file. So I'm just going to find that on my computer. And again, it's going to take a little while to upload, but I'm just going to speed this up for you. And now it will tell us that it's uploaded our cover. We'll just wait a little bit. There it is. So cover uploaded successfully. Takes a little while for the cover to appear here, but we're just going to wait a little bit. And in the meantime, while we wait, I'll tell you about this little checkbox. It says check this box if the cover you are uploading includes a barcode. Now, we haven't included a barcode in ours. We don't worry about that because Amazon will give us a barcode, and it will put the barcode on the back of our cover automatically. Some people, when they buy an ISBN, they like to use their own barcode, but this is not for us, so we don't have to. We can just ignore this. And what we need to do next is we need to launch the previewer, and that will tell us if there are any mistakes or any errors. So keeping my fingers crossed that there are no errors, I'm just going to click Launch Previewer. And this is the part that does take a little bit of time. So this will not upload in real time. Otherwise, sometimes this can take anything from 10 minutes to 30 minutes I've sometimes come across, and sometimes it goes through straight away within 2 minutes. So it really just depends on your internet connection, on how busy Amazon are. I don't know what else it depends on, but I know that it's never the same time. It can either be fast or slow. It just depends on the day. So we'll see what happens today. So here we have our book, and it's now uploaded onto Amazon. There are no errors, so it's passed the quality check. And let's just quickly check through the pages. So the cover looks okay. This is where the barcode is going to go. The title is fairly centered. It could maybe go slightly to the left, but then you never know where they're going to cut the book, so I'm just going to leave it like that. And this is the first page this notebook belongs to, and then you have your lined pages. So all of that is in order, and when we've checked over our book, all we have to do is click Approve, and it will take us to a page where we can check everything. So this page is everything we've entered, and all it does is here at the end, it confirms our printing cost. There's the summary. It's ink and paper type is black and white, interior with white. So when you check your book, just quickly check over this summary as well, that everything is correct. The bleed setting is no bleed. The cover is matte, the trim size, and the page count. And then it's telling us that it will cost $2.44 to print our book on Amazon.com, and this is the cost, the printing cost on all the other markets. So now we can click Save and Continue, and we're getting to the end now of uploading our book, so let's do that. And now we're on the last page. So now they're asking us to select the territories for which we hold distribution rights. So it's basically asking us, where do we want to publish our book? And I always choose all territories because I want it to go to all Amazon stores in every country, but you could also click individual territories. But I really think you should try all of them. And then the primary marketplace is Amazon.com, which we have already chosen before on the first page, but you can check it here again, although it doesn't really let you change that. But if you wanted to change it, you could just go back onto the paperback details here and do that. I always choose Amazon.com, so that's fine. And now it comes to pricing your book. So whichever price you enter here, because this is your primary marketplace, it will adjust all of these prices on the other marketplaces. So what do we do about our pricing? Well, I always make sure that I earn at least $3 in royalties. But of course, with notebooks, we can't do that because you can't have really expensive notebooks. And I would say that $7.99 is a good price for a notebook. So let's try that and see how many royalties we're getting. So I've entered $7.99 and it's telling us that it will cost $2.44 to print. Our royalty rate is 60%. So we're getting $2.35 for each notebook that we're selling, and I think that's a really good royalty for a notebook. I'm happy if I'm earning $1, to be honest. So this is perfect. So you could price your book at $6.99 or even $8.99. It's completely up to you. I think most notebooks on Amazon are in the $5.99, $6.99 and $7.99 range. So I'm just going to go with $7.99, but like I said, it's completely up to you. And it has adjusted all these prices depending on the currency exchange on the day. What I like to do is I like to finish these off with 99. So instead of this price being $6.22, I just like to change this to 99. So let's do that quickly. And then I do that to all the other ones as well. So you can continue doing that to the rest of them. And just another thing to explain, expanded distribution is when your books can be distributed to bookstores and to libraries, that kind of thing. But because this is a low content book, they're not really eligible for expanded distribution. So we don't do anything here. We don't tick that because we're not eligible for that. And that's all really. So once you've done all that, all you have to do is click publish your paperback book and it will be live. I'm not going to do that because I don't want to publish this book. This was just to show you how you would do that. And you can read the term and conditions by clicking publish. I confirm that I agree to and I'm in compliance with the KDP terms and conditions. And I really recommend that you read these because a lot of people are getting their KDP accounts terminated because they haven't read these conditions. They haven't really looked into what is allowed and what isn't allowed. I've got videos about what to do and what not to do on KDP, so you can always watch them. But please read these terms and conditions. It's very important because you are signing that you have read them, so you should read them. And that way you're safer because then you will know what you're allowed to do and what you're not allowed to do. You can also request a proof book if you click here. I don't think it's necessary for a notebook. I've only ever done that with written books, but you can do that if you want to. You can also just order your book once it's live. You can just order it as a normal customer, and don't forget that you get paid royalties for that, so you're still getting it at a discount because you will earn the royalties. And once you've published your book, what happens next is that it goes into review. Amazon will review your book, and if there's nothing wrong with it, then they will publish it. But I will have to say that if Amazon published this book, that doesn't mean that it's okay regarding copyright or trademarks. You still have to be careful that there is no copyright infringement or trademark infringement. And this is why it's so important that you read the KDP terms and conditions, because approving your book only means that there are no errors when it comes to printing. But of course, they haven't checked for things that might not be allowed on KDP. So they can come back to you anytime and suddenly say, oh, this book has been blocked because there's something wrong with it. You haven't applied the rules, or you haven't done what you're supposed to do. Again, that's why it's important to read the KDP terms and conditions and just make sure that everything you're doing is done in the right way. And that is all really. That is your book published. So this is how you would publish your first notebook on Amazon KDP. I hope you watched the previous videos. And like I said at the beginning, this doesn't mean that your book is going to sell. It might sell, but it might not sell, because selling your books is a completely different ball game. You have to learn how to promote your books. You have to make sure your keywords are correct. But I just wanted to show you how you publish your first notebook, because once you've done that, the rest is just a learning process, and you can watch more video tutorials on what to do next, and you can learn more about keywords. You can learn more about the categories that you can place your books in. You can learn how to research your books so that you ensure that you do get those sales. What we've done with this video series is we have learned the process on how to upload your book, and that is your first step. So I just want to congratulate you on taking the first step. That is already a great thing, because a lot of people never start this. They're thinking about it, but they're not actually taking the steps to do this. So by doing this, you've already done something that a lot of people haven't done, and it's amazing. I really hope that this is the first step on your publishing journey. I hope you follow my YouTube channel for more tips, for more tutorials, and I thank you so much for watching this. I hope you have enjoyed this tutorial, this whole series. I will leave all the links below this video, and I see you next time.